People talk a lot about Princeton public schools, but after more than 20 years in real estate, I can tell you that locally in Mercer County, especially in the Princeton area, there is another education story that is quietly shaping this market. Families are relocating literally from across the country and the globe, paying $50,000 to $70,000 a year for private school and paying a massive premium to live locally. Today, we're going to break down the 5 private schools driving the massive relocation to the Princeton market. Welcome back to the Wilton Report. I'm Josh Wilton. I co-own and run the #1 boutique real estate company here in Princeton and Central New Jersey. And I've helped thousands of people buy and sell real estate, which gives me a front row seat to helping you make smarter decisions. So let's jump right in. So private schools, we are talking private K through 8, mostly high schools for the context of this conversation, why they matter in a real estate context. So I can tell you from firsthand experience that families do relocate from across the country, especially across the Northeast within New Jersey for the right school. A lot of people, when their kids get accepted to the schools, right, they will make the decision, the families will make the decision to move closer so the kid does not have to board, right? They can live at home, go to the school. And so school calendars obviously punch a lot of clocks in the real estate world. We all know spring, generally speaking, is the busiest time of year. So a lot of buyers are coming to Princeton, Greater Princeton right now, driven by the recent admissions process for the local private high schools. So what are the high schools? So let's go and talk about them. So Princeton Day School, PDS as we call it locally, is a local co-ed private high school. The Hun School of Princeton, right, which is right in Russell Estates on the edge of town, is a local co-ed, I believe it's a middle school through high school. The Lawrenceville School, which is a private high school in Lawrenceville, it is probably arguably one of the top private high schools in the country. Also a boarding school. Hun is also a boarding school. Stewart Country Day is a private high school here in Princeton. And Princeton Academy, the Sacred Heart, is a K through 8. So those are the big players locally. And from what I can scrape together online, PDS is about $50,000 a year. The Hun School is about $50,000 a year. Lawrenceville, $66,000 a year. If you live there, you can tack on another $80,000, at least from what I could read online. The Hun School has boarding options. So if you live there, you can tack on another $73,000 a year online. Stewart Country does not have boarding options, neither does the Princeton Academy. So what does this all mean? So why would somebody relocate from East Brunswick, New Jersey to Princeton so their kid can attend Lawrenceville Prep? Well, let's talk about it. So PDS, right, on niche.com, the grade is an A+, right? The student-teacher ratio, 7-1. The average SAT score at PDS, 1430. And I'm laughing because that's just an incredible number. The Hun School, according to niche.com, also an A+. Student-teacher ratio, 5-1. Average SAT score, 1360. The Lawrenceville School, Lawrenceville Prep, as it's known locally, niche.com, A+. 6-1 student-teacher ratio, 1460 average SAT score, darn near perfect. Stewart Country Day, A+ on niche.com, 4-1 student-teacher ratio, 1370 average SAT score, and Princeton Academy, the Sacred Heart, is K through 8. So obviously no SAT scores for them, but it is an A+ on niche.com. So again, if you're a parent, right, why would you move from a different part of the state, New York City, and I have multiple people doing all the above, from California to send your kids to private schools? Well, those are really good reasons. They have very small classrooms as compared to the public schools. West Windsor tops the charts locally for the average SAT at 1,400, right? PDS and Lawrenceville School knock that off. So there's a lot of pressure for parents for their kids to do well. Like parents feel the pressure, they put the pressure on their kids. So if the kid does get into one of these prestigious private high schools, right, the parent is going to make the decision to move here. So what price point do they move to, right? So let's talk about that. From what I'm seeing locally, right, this is an average. And again, usually this is where I get in trouble on YouTube. People like yell at me for being an elitist. The average price point for the families we're working with that are moving to this area for the kids to attend these schools is $2 to $4 million. It's significant. The issue is there's not a lot of inventory, right? There's not a lot of inventory in that price point. I was in a conference room here at the office with a family moving here for PDS. We got them something off market in the $3 million range, right? They said there's 10 other families in the same situation, all coming here for the private schools, all want a luxury house. There's literally not enough to buy right now in the Princeton, greater Princeton area. So, you know, the impact that it has on the local real estate scene is profound. I was speaking with another colleague about this at another firm. He said, in his words, the private schools, other than Princeton University, right, and the public schools, is a top driver of people relocating to this area. He's convinced of it, no question about it, just thinks that it's a major draw to the area. So again, let's talk about some of the math at some of the private schools. PDS, Princeton Day School, the enrollment's $989, but again, I believe that's K through 12. The Hunt School, which is middle school and high school, is $695. The Lawrenceville School, middle school, high school, $824. Stewart Country Day, which is high school, $275. And Princeton Academy of the Sacred Heart, I don't know if this is accurate, it says $92, but it's K through 8, so it's obviously going to be a little bit smaller. So again, they are known for STEM. They are known for the PDS, Hunt School, and Lawrenceville having great boarding programs. The Lawrenceville School is an Ivy League placement machine. My son used to compete at the Lawrenceville School. We called it the University of Lawrenceville because the athletic facilities were so world class. The athletic facilities at Lawrenceville Prep are probably better than the athletic facilities of a lot of D1 campuses. Like, it's that profound. So parents are definitely going to make the sacrifice to move here to get their kids in these schools. And the impact on the real estate market is very profound because people are moving here and they're making the decision to invest in the area, send their kids to the private schools. And what does it do? It puts a drain on the local inventory, which is good if you're a seller, bad if you're a buyer. So when you think about it, what are the people that are buying into these schools buying into? So Princeton Day School, the Hunt School, Stewart Country Day, and Princeton Academy are all in Princeton. So the average single-family home price in Princeton is $1.7 million. That's what they're buying into. Lawrenceville School is in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. The average single-family home is $624. I do find that people moving to this area are looking in Princeton, Hopewell, Montgomery to send their kids to these schools because they're not as worried about having the Princeton address. They're a little more flexible in terms of where they're going. But again, you know, according to niche.com, all these schools are A+, right? And the people moving here to support their kids in their educational journey is profound on the real estate market. It's profound. And I think it's even more this year as parents make the decision to sort of double down on their kids' education in light of the fact that I think everyone's a little bit uncertain about what the future brings for jobs, et cetera. So, you know, my opinion, private schools are not just about the education, at least locally. They influence relocation, right? They influence rental demands. They influence renovations, right? They influence long-term home value in the Princeton, greater Princeton market. So if you're moving to Princeton, right, understanding the fact that you're not just competing with Princeton University. If you're moving to West Windsor, you're not just competing with people just to get to the West Windsor schools. You're competing with parents who are going to move here and they're going to send their kids to a private school. And it just adds to the buyer pool that we normally don't talk about. We talk about the university a lot. We've talked about the public schools a lot. But I will tell you this year, especially in the luxury segment of the market, the private schools have a profound impact on demand locally. And I will tell you, we have a backlog of buyers waiting for the right house to come on the market, and they just aren't quite there. Like I said, we've sold a few off market this year to the luxury crowd. So again, we've only looked at the private school premium, but that's, again, only half the story. We also released our full breakdown of Mercer County's public school premium, and I highly recommend you watching that next. I'll put that link in the video. As always, I'm Josh Wilton, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe for more local real estate information across Princeton and Mercer County. And I'll see you all next time on the Wilton Report. Thanks, everybody.